Chào, sorry, bye.
hello, hello. Test, test, test. Hello, hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, and 3. Please acknowledge if you can hear. Thank you. Assalamualaikum, Datin, Doctor. Can you hear me? Is everything okay? Can you hear me well?
Yeah,
Test, test, test.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well. Thank you. Tapi my video is off.
Is my view alright?
Sorry?
My view looks okay, my video?
Yes, yeah. Your video is fine and your sound is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is fine. Can hear you clearly. The speaker and also the moderator.
Alright. Madeline, is that you?
Yeah, I'm Madeline here.
Alright, good to have you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna meet all of you now. Everything is okay until we start at 11. Is it alright?
Alright.
Alright, thank you.
My video is off, is it?
Yes, your video is off.
Your video is off.
Okay. Are we to start now? Good morning. It's 11 o'clock. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to PAM's CPD Unlimited 2021. With the next session, the topic is on constructing knowledge and expanding resources. Hello, my name is Syed Nabil, and I'm your moderator for the session. And this next session will be conducted by Datin Dr. Hayati Hussain, where she'll be talking about. Good morning, Dr. Hayati. Before we I continue, I would just like to remind all participants to get in the sign-in code and to also remind everyone to use in the sign-out code before you leave. I believe the sign-out code will be given about 10 minutes before the end of the session. Now, to quickly introduce Dr. Hayati Hussain. She is part of the Resource Center for the Persatuan Architect Malaysia, which is our physical and digital library and resource center. She is a graduate of the University of Technology of Malaysia, and she's an educator, a researcher, and she has written quite a few books, like the 2013 PAM History book, the 2015 The Living Machines, Malaysia's Modern Architectural Heritage, and review interviews celebrating 60 years of Malaysian architecture, 1957 to 1917, which was published in 1917. She has authored monographs successfully on modern buildings in Kuala Lumpur. Due to her interest in architectural history and theory, she founded the Center for Modern Architectural Studies in Southeast Asia in 2005 to produce research publications and undertake research that focuses on the documentation of modern architecture's intellectual and physical heritage in Southeast Asia.
Sorry,
Now,
Cik Syed, sorry, I need to alert you. Can you please on your video?
oh, sorry.
Yeah, your video is off. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is it on now?
Yes, it is clear. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Apologize for that. She is currently, she's producing research publications and undertaking research that focus on the documentation of modern architecture's intellectual and physical heritage in Southeast Asia. She is currently the country coordinator for ASEAN, which is the Modern ASEAN Architecture Project, and the PAMER project coordinator. So I just review a brief synopsis of what the session will be. The synopsis is about a civilized society is characterized, among others, by its ability to record its accomplishments, communicate, and disseminate knowledge. Thus, proper handling of resources and ensuring accessibility is a priority for the successful management of information. Sharing PAM RC's initiative to develop a comprehensive electronic resources on Malaysian architecture, Dr. Hayati will speak on the effort to construct knowledge through the collaborative endeavor. And hello, Dr. Hayati. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Just how are you today?
Alhamdulillah, okay.
Are you ready? It sounds like a very exciting and interesting topic, and I think a lot of us are looking forward to hearing your exciting endeavors about this new development in our architectural history.
Yeah, inshallah.
Let's carry on. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Syed Nabil, Syed Ahmad, for moderating the session. I would also like to thank you, Pam, for this opportunity or giving me time to share some initiative that we have done in the Resource Center. And also, last and not least, thank you to all participants attending this event. I'm very sad not to be able to see all of you because it seems to be like I'm talking to just two of the people here. But however, I hope this session is going to provide um, some information, and hopefully we could develop further networks from today in order to improve our resource center in PAM. Okay, and so I can continue with my presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me share my slides. Okay, Nabil, can you see the slides?
Yes, it's still
All
fine.
right,
Yes.
so I will just open it up. Okay, do let me know if there's any problem with my slides. Oh,
That's fine.
okay. Let me just, can I switch this off? Okay, all right. Oops, okay, I need to, okay, let me just go out again. No. Okay, forget this one. How do I go out from this? I need to actually, okay, wait. Okay, I have to go the first one. That was the last one already. Okay. Okay, this one. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I will be sharing initiative by the PAM Resource Center that has been going on for the last 1 year. However, before I go to that initiative to share you what the products of our work, I would want to share first events that leading to it, because I think the most important thing is to understand the reason why we have started with this initiative, and perhaps to focus on the ultimate outcome of it. Okay. It's about 2 years ago, PAM have successfully organized a student workshop in PAM Center, Kuala Lumpur, which a workshop that PAM collaborated with the University Technology Malaysia, and also supported by the Toyota Foundation and the Institute of Industrial University of Tokyo. So this event took place in July 2019, and it was quite successful that we managed to get participants from various universities in Malaysia, and we gathered almost about 80 students, researchers, academics, and architects to be part of these activities. And this event ran for 3 days in PAM Center with lectures on modern architecture building. And we had inventory done on the buildings, site visits, presentations, and also exhibition. I hope some of you participants here today have also attended that workshops. So from the lectures also, we were honored to have esteemed speakers from the University of Tokyo to provide background to the modern architecture that had happened in Southeast Asia. So the participants comprised of many from universities, national and internationally. They work together in groups and also utilize the facilities in PAM, which mainly happen within the PAM President Hall. And what the participants were expected to do, they have conducted inventory of modern architecture in Kuala Lumpur, and they were given the methods which using the inventory form which we have provided, and they look into collecting as much information as possible on given list of building within the zones which we have identified as the main zone in the area of Kuala Lumpur. There were some questions about the selection of the zonings. However, this have been decided as the main zone of the area in Kuala Lumpur, and there was some overlapping, obviously. However, from this inventory, we have gathered as many as 200 buildings that we consider as modern architecture between the period of 1940s to 1970s. So within a short period of 2 days, the participants investigated, they did site observation, they took pictures because the inventory required the participants to provide evidence and to record the building as in the information to fill in the data sheets, and also to record the findings through photographic evidences. So what was interesting to observe during that time, that the students, the researchers, and the academics alike, they were very supportive of the activities and cooperative, and we could say that they have delivered a very good outcome to the workshops. So when they came back from their site analysis and their site observation, and also the inventory study on site, they came to prepare their final presentations and also the submissions to the whole project. So on the last day, we allocated the day for them to present their experiences as researcher to the city, and also share their findings in front of a panel of reviewers comprised of academics and practitioners. So it was a very interesting session to observe basically the young researchers who some of them first time to experience Kuala Lumpur architecture in details, and with the exercise they could visit a lot of the building inside and outside the building with permission of course from the owner of the building. And finally, and at the closing ceremony, we could see the outcomes, the relationship that has built among the participants, and all the group photos that we took, and the final products which displayed in PAM for almost 1 month, okay, to show and to share to others who might have not participated in the activities. And also at the same time, we plan or we aim that this display of the work could attract others to come in and also to contribute to the information that has been gathered, because not every building have complete informations, and the inventory obviously required further examinations. So with that, it is very happy to report that at the end, the project, which is supported by the Masiana project from the University of Tokyo, were able to publish the whole inventory and the report of the activity. And this is available if anyone is interested. The copy of this report is available in our resource center. So you could visit the resource center and look at the products, the report itself. It's very beautiful and well documented by the project itself. So apparently, looking at the outcome of the workshops and the findings in the inventory, we could say that the conclusion of the inventories achieve what the target of the inventory investigation. However, when we scrutinize further the outcome of the inventory, particularly looking at the data sheet that the student have submitted to us, we could see that there is an underlying issues among everyone that really surprise us or make us think deeper about our situation as academics and also as practitioners in this profession. One thing about the whole exercise, the question came to our mind is that how much do we really know about Malaysian architecture? How much do the participants, particularly who took that effort of studying the modern architecture in Kuala Lumpur just for 2 days, how much do the inventory tell us about what they know, particularly about Kuala Lumpur architecture. So if we take this as an experiment and also as a research survey, I think we could conclude that the outcome or the findings from that is not that promising, because out of all these numbers that we have inventorized in Kuala Lumpur, many of the group could identify the date the building was built. Okay, this is the 2 questions that I took from the data sheet or the 2 findings. Okay, there are more which I did not report here, but the 2 points that is to me is very important in assessing the basic information about what we have gathered is looking at findings on the date that the building was built or completed and the architects that associated with the building itself. So if you look at these numbers, it is not so good numbers because mainly the participants could not find the name of the architects who associated with the building, and it is less than I think the range is quite wide, and it bring out a question that do we really know what we have done and have this information really reach the public, all the students or the researchers if they were wanting to know about Malaysian architecture or Kuala Lumpur in that fact. So if we look at here, it is a very small number compared to to what is expected, and these numbers reflected on one major component in terms of identifying a society that could be considered or associated with a learned institution. For example, like PAM is a learned society. However, if the members of the society is unable to to grasp all this information, so what will happen to the society itself? So if we look at this whole idea that if we consider ourselves a civilized society within a civilization, in a modern civilization, then we should have fulfill all the basic requirements and the conditions of a civilization. One of the major component of a civilization, taken from understanding of how civilization of the past flourish or develop, there were 5 major conditions that determine how the level of civilization. The first one would be record keeping, advanced cities, advanced technology, complex institution, and skilled workers. So if we could say that we might have achieved all the last 4, but very unfortunate that the record keeping is missing here. So fundamentally, this is the most serious issues or the most serious situation that need to be addressed. So if we try to then look at what we have gathered within that 2 days, basically the architecture of the modern period in Kuala Lumpur have certain physical characters to it, and we could just simply describe them very easily. However, in having information about a city is more than just the physical aspect of the building. It goes beyond the skin, because the idea is to understand why that building has been produced and what were the influencing factors, and to really understand who the mind behind the whole structure. So this is the major concerns among the among I think everyone, if you could see from the numbers that we have gathered from the inventory study, that there must be something that we could do to address this situation. And just a short study about the buildings. If we just select 20 buildings out of the whole list of 200 buildings that we managed to inventorize, we could see that the buildings representing certain elements of the time. It's not just about making a structure. It's not just about constructing a building, but each of them identify the periods. It identify the time where it came from, and also the people who has been associated with them. So to focus, like for example, in the 1950s, we can talk about all the buildings that were built in the early 1950s that reflecting a transition, very literally in architectural development, from classical to Art Nouveau, and now we are at the stage where we try to reinterpret and relook at what we had at that time. But this effort of relooking or reinterpreting into the architectural form is not just architectural endeavor. It's not just about making shapes or making form, however, it relates to what the time was. It was the time where the city just newly established as capital of the federation, and also that is the time when our society, the Society of Architects, were founded, and also where at the period of a new ordinance association, and also the education system has just started, and it was in political period or phase. It was a time of renegotiating, rethinking about who we were, and also what we should be in the future. So the transition period, which we identified as a transition period in architecture, is in fact not just happening in architecture, but it's also reflecting on the people and the time and the place that where the building or that structure stand. Also, if we look at the period of 1957, when we gained independence, the architecture that were produced at that time expressed fully the spirit of being free and be be modern at the same time. So the creation of the stadium to match the spirit, and also significantly to have an event such independence within this ground of the stadium, reflected on the moods, and also the way the government has been transformed from the traditional way of ruling a country. Now we have adopted a new system that is giving power to the people, to the citizen, to decide on who are going to be the ruler of the country. So the reaching of the period of the 1960s, when we decided, or the nation decided to again rethink about the identity of the nation. So new idea of what we were translated very well in the architecture and also in the design of the building. The adaptation, the reinterpretation, and one could say the symbolics of the symbolism that it has. So this very well discussed and also debated in many writings. But if this whole concept or this whole information about what had happened through the manifestation of our architecture is not being discussed and be passed on to the future generation, then that will create a generation who cannot narrate the whole history of the place. So every form or every change in architecture is a manifestation of the soul of its inhabitants. So to come to a point where we reach a peak in the development of modernism before 1970s uh, with another discourse on architecture, which also as interesting as the modern period, but we will not go to there today. So what I just going to say that it is very important then to try to think about what would be the next action. We cannot just say that okay, we know this problem, but what can we do? We cannot do anything. So that is what is the resource center and the committee have decided, that we have to do something about what is missing as evidence from the activity that we have conducted. So looking at, this is going back to certain theory, basic theory, just to say that architecture is a product of very intense thinking about cause and cause and effect, and we cannot just simply looking at certain events or certain occurrence just from its skin deep, but to really understand what is happening behind, underneath all the layers that we could identify. So in architecture, as complex as the any other education, but it's very complex because it comprises of many information and many knowledge, and for one person to to gather all this information and translate the knowledge, it needs or it requires a massive support system and also references to be able to generate or to construct own knowledge. So this deep concern about not having enough information, I think has been translated in many incidents which we don't really want to highlight. But then it is a reminder to us that if we do not do anything about it, then we could be missing a lot of things that have contributed or have impacted us a lot in the past, and also the where we are now was because of the actions that have been done to for us from those people who have come before us. So the concerns now is that we don't have comprehensive documentation of our architectural history, and this lack of proper documentation will consequently resulted in our lack of appreciation of what we had been built and also what have been produced. Also, lack of respect to our previous architect generations. And looking at what we have done so far, this is as of 2018, publications by PAM itself. PAM has been in the front runner as the publisher for many books on Malaysian architecture, and also I think there are a few more that I did not put in here. But are we happy with this publication? I don't think so. We need to push this. We need to try to get more of this to come in, and to support education, to support practices, and also any research in relation to our own country. And this is what I have done quite long time ago. When I did my research on Malaysian architecture, I basically listed down all the books that could have been list. I mean, this is list of reference for anyone that wanting to learn of specific um, subjects in regards to Malaysian architecture. But still, what we can conclude here, we have not done enough. We have not gathered enough information to be published, and also um, to to be kept as reference for our future generation. So the question is, where are we going? Okay, do we just stay here as where we are now, or we want to try to break the chain and try to say that I can do something and I want to do that, and let it be. So what happened is that I took the actions, not quietly, but tried to reach out then to a group of volunteers, researchers, and reviewers to join force to work together to develop an archive for Malaysian architecture. And we we are still under construction. We are working on it, and the reason for me to be here to talk about this today is again to reach out to any participants who are here, or maybe the participants here could then pass on the information to anyone that you think are very interested to come in to be a part of this whole exercise, or this whole initiative. The aim is that we want to construct knowledge, okay, understanding that knowledge could only derive from information or data that are collected, and knowledge can only be understood as the arrival of meaning to the soul. Okay, that means by gathering information is not yet knowledge, but once you understand what that information means, or how does that really relate to your own existence and what you do in this world, then only that is what knowledge, how that knowledge come to you. To wait for knowledge to come to the soul, it might be very difficult if there's no effort is done. So my way of looking at it is that we let the soul to come to the meaning. That means we try to do as much as possible to bring ourselves to generate that meaning in order to then construct that knowledge. So with that, we use a platform in PAM to expand the existing resources. We introduce what we call PAM electronic resources. In short, we call it PAMER. PAMER, but I think it could be translated in Bahasa Melayu, which means pamer, which means display. We are displaying as much information as possible for everyone, then to use as whatever way they like, however to support the lack of information that is now happening in our country, or in Malaysia, or in the world, in that sense. So with that, I will stop sharing this one. I will go and share further. Okay, I want to share another. Where is that? Oh no, I want to share. Okay, wait, where is that? Sekejap, okay. Okay, let me just share my desktop. Okay, I think it's here somewhere. I have to send my slides. Okay, oh, sorry. Now you can see all my WhatsApp. Okay, so this is, can you see the Pamer website? Nabil, can you see this?
I can see it, Pan.
Okay, thank you. So this is the website that we are constructing currently. It will contain all the information about Malaysian architecture. For now, the target is Malaysia first because I think this is the most crucial aspect of our history. However, we could expand it further. Maybe we could take it to the Asian level or to the world level. But just a focus here for this time, and we hope that we could then expand it as as big as it can go in how many years, because I don't think this is something that we could put a date to say that we have completed the whole information. No, I don't think so. Even maybe our future generation could then come into PAM and continue this further. So just to share this, this is still under construction. It is due to be launched sometime in April. So the effort is still ongoing. Let me just share the people that is in here. The chairman of the committee, Architect Andrianta, is our project advisor. Also, previous chairman, Architect Daniel, Architect Dexter, and myself as the project coordinator. We have Ms. Shafiqah as our coordinator for the resource center. Associate Professor Dr. Veronica as the editor to the website, and Ms. Azira as our webmaster. Dr. Zoraini from UM is our resource person and reviewer for Zone 1. Architect Nurul Alia for Zone 2. Mr. Megat for Zone 3. Miss Delia for Zone 2, 4, and 5. Very active resource person, Miss Delia. And Mr. Kamarul for Zone 6. Mr. Abdul Razak for Zone 7, and Architect Wan Iskandar for Zone 8. So we have been working closely to construct this website, and the intention is to go as many area as possible. Right now we have identified modern as the first chapter that we, or the first folder that we are expanding, because that is the material that we have right now. I think I can go here, okay. And we hope that this would be expanded soon with more collaborators or reviewers that would want to come and join this activity. We have started with Kuala Lumpur. In our target previously was we should have covered Ipoh in 2020, but MCO took control of the situation, so we could not go to Ipoh. But we are in the process of trying to work out on arrangement on how maybe to do it online, or work together with people in Ipoh to generate that information so that we could bring into PAM. And in Penang supposed to be this year, so we are waiting for whether that to be possible. And okay, what happened? Okay, there are a lot of things under construction here, but if you see that in Zone 1, there are all this material that already been uploaded in terms of inventory of building in University of Malaya. There are about 37 of them. So each of the inventory of the building have pictures. I mean, people could go and scroll on this picture later on. And in phase 2 of this inventory is to also provide a brief information about each building in this website. So you will not only, or any users will not only see the pictures, but they will get information, detailed, information about the building soon. And that is the activity that is going on right now. So if we look at like Kuala Lumpur, Central Kuala Lumpur, we have here, slow. Okay, we have all the buildings. There are 36 building inside this folder, and each of these folder, like for example, if you want to go and see Chinwoo Stadium, you either you scroll or it will bring you automatically to that, and there are several picture of Chinwoo should be okay, but it's not going yet. So it's under construction right now, and that is what I really want to share with everyone today, and I hope by sharing this information, I could at least get feedback about how to improve this further, and also open this collaboration, open this effort to a wider participants or collaborators that would want to come and be part of this whole activity. You don't have to be an academic, or you don't have to be a researcher, or you could be an architect, because right now resources, we have gathered enough information from, not enough, I mean, we have gathered information from architects like Datuk Baharudin himself, who designed the Masjid Negara. He have through architect Azim, has given us a collection of his photographs on Masjid Negara under construction. So that is one area or folder that we would like to expand right now. And we do have special collections in terms of on e-book from architects that have done personal e-books, and they want to share it with everyone, without any charges or any fees. So it is about sharing information and disseminating it for anyone who would come to visit the sites and be able to use the information for their own purposes or their own project or work. And by looking by reading the information or taking on the information, there will be knowledge construction happening within that exercise. So that's all what I have today. I hope I can get some feedbacks from everyone, questions, or inputs. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Go back to you, Syed Nabil.
Noor. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Hayati. That was an amazing and interesting, very interesting talk about the what you've done so far. For everybody's knowledge, I also have joined the Resource Center recently, but so this is pretty new to me. I think you told me earlier when we first had our first meeting, I think a few months ago, and you talked a bit about Pamir, and now it looks like it's expanded a lot more. I'm just waiting for some questions, but in the meantime, I've got a few questions to ask you, just basic questions. But so you are initially, if I understand, this initiative started more about trying to catalog modern buildings, specifically modern buildings. Is that right?
Yes, if we refer to the initial activity with Masiana, it was to inventarize the modern architecture in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. In Kuala Lumpur, because the Masiana project is a 5-year project that has been going on from the University of Tokyo. And I am one of the researchers with that project. And Masiana, what Masiana stands for is much larger. I mean, it looked at ASEAN, okay, the whole ASEAN region, and try to gather information about modern architecture, because they think this is one aspect of our history that has been neglected by many, whereas modern is part of a new development and contributed to who we are today. So therefore, this 5-year project starting from 2017, if I'm not mistaken, when I first joined and produced write up, presented on Kuala Lumpur. So they it's always a focus on a city in every ASEAN country. But to me, that is that initiative from University of Tokyo. We can learn from them, but then come back to our own place, on our own state, and try to, do what we can to our own professions. And this concern over a lack of documentation is not just when I joined Masiana. It actually came from my own research when I did my thesis in modern architecture. It was very difficult, you could not find a lot of resources. You had to go get it from architects themselves, and even have to go to RIBA, and to the university where the architect studied, to gain as much information or to understand on the architect. So to me, that is ridiculous. When you want to know about your own architecture, why do you have to go so far away to get your own material? So therefore, I think PAM as a center, and also as an establishment, could be the catalyst here, or could be the place for main reference to architecture in Malaysia. Okay.
Very interesting.
There is a question there.
Yes, looks like a question from Farisa Ibrahim. How will the future generations, LAM Part 1, able to contribute to this research? Looks like you've already got some more people interested.
Well, it doesn't, you don't have to be at any age to be part of this research. You can contact me personally. Okay. How to contact me personally? Well, I can give you my number, but we do have a discussion session, and we then talk about what each of the member want to do. Okay, the project itself is very open-ended as it is, and I as coordinator just coordinating. I don't really give a strict a requirement that you have to do this, you have to do that, or things like that. Right now, it's just that we are doing on the modern, therefore the focus is on the modern. But if any one come to the committee and want to say that, oh, I have this inclination to contribute on any aspect of Malaysian architecture or built environment, you could be you could come and join. It's not okay. So Farisha, is it? Farisha, you can anytime contact our secretariat, Ms. Shafika, to say that you are interested with Pamir, and then we will set up a meeting, and then we can discuss further. Just like that. It's nothing. It's not a requirement that you have to be an architect or you have to be an academic, or no. It's okay. Okay, Farisha, hope you could come and join us soon.
And it's also a good excuse to come and visit our brand new resource center. So yes, we actually have got a physical center where we have a physical collection, and this Pamir is part of it as well. So there will be, we also are hoping for this RC center to be a active research hub in a way. Is that right, Dr. Hayati? Yeah. That's our plan. Is it that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've got another question as well on the chat box from FYZ. Dear Datin, where do you get all the photo of the old building? Very nice pic.
Okay.
So
Okay. So far, what we the photos that we have come from the Masiana project because it is copyrighted to Masiana project and shared copyright with PAM. So that that okay, that part in terms of our collections, they are original that belong to us. We don't get it from other sources as much as possible. If we use the sources, especially in Pamer, those are copyrighted to us, or we will identify where we got it from. Okay, and so so mostly our photo, except a few maybe in my slides, they were taken from other publications. But the purpose of Pamer is to create our own resources. Therefore, there's a component of research into it because we want original material. We will not scanning books. Okay, that is not our purpose. We are not reproducing things that has been produced by others because then to me it will be wrong to create to create resources based on someone else's work. So but we do have digital collection under PAM resource that we scanning publications by PAM, which going to be accessible to the public soon also. But that is a different category. For Pamer, we are gathering or we're collecting new materials which could be used by all soon. Okay.
So I've got while waiting for another question, I'm kind of interested. So this thing was in a way it was triggered by, besides your own research, Doctor, also but triggered by the University of Tokyo's research into modern architecture. So the definition of modern, is it like a time-based or the design?
Okay, from the Masiana, they do decide on specific period, but depending on each country, the arrival of modernism varies, and with different contributors. So for Malaysia, it was considered the 1950s when the evidence of a true early modern design came into shapes, and towards the 1960s, end of 1960s, when the peak of that early modernism and combining with brutalism and the late treatment of the building. But in the 1970s, when we look at how it developed in 1970s, it's already in a different kind of phase. So it's currently in Pamer and in Masiana, we have not covered that area yet, but hopefully it's going to be expanded to that.
Sorry, phase which expanded to which one? Sorry.
To 1970s onwards.
Okay, all right. In the time, yeah.
To the current time lah, because modern is what is happening every day.
It's also very critical. I think one of the very important points that you raised was the lack of documentation leads to the lack of knowledge and lack of respect. We have no understanding of what happened before. And there was like a picture you posted about Puncak Purnama, which was basically a tragedy because this is like the built form. One of the bigger tragedies is that there isn't even any much public art in the first place, So I remember, for example, next to KLCC, there used to be like I think double-story modernist shopping mall, but there was also like a sculpture outside the building, which was a little bit like Barbara Hapsworth, And I remember as a child looking at that, it was very interesting, and I have no idea what happened to it. This is the attitude in Malaysia. It seems to be the same attitude towards our natural resources as well. It always what's going on with the jungle and the islands. We have, and I think it's obviously like what's you are doing right now. It's a very, very critical part. It's also interesting that you highlighted the fact that there isn't any like central, central point for information in regards to the built form prior to this. Are you hoping, and besides this digital Pamer platform, are you hoping it to what's your vision? Are you hoping to be like a bigger place, like a REBA library? I think yeah, sorry, yes, carry on.
Yeah. I think that's the whole vision of the new PAM Resource Center. It's not just going to be an archive or a place where we store books, for references. But soon we hope the resource center or this whole resource areas is going to be expanded to cater for all activities that related for knowledge sharing, dissemination of knowledge, and also discussion or forums or seminar, whatever. But it's a center for it could be excellence in understanding architecture, not only of Malaysia but the wherever it is, kan? So that expansion of the physical expansion of the resource center, we hope could be happening soon in PAM, not within just this virtual world, but physically. I don't know how many of our participants has been to PAM Resource Center. Yes, it's very small and it's very hidden in a way in the basement. But we are working on getting more spaces in PAM to be the center for activities. The reason why, if we look at how any civilization has expanded, they will depend on all this knowledge as a demonstration of who they are. You don't go around telling people that you are educated if you don't have a book in your hand. You you must have something to rely on, at least one very informative authoritative text. That should be the way. So we aim for a better and bigger PAM resource center in the future. And what we need all the supports from our members and the publics to give feedback and to give input, and also to work together with us in order to make this reality. A library should not be just a place, a quiet place, for books to whispers to each other. No, our today library is an active, interactive, full of people in it. That is my imagination of what PAM Resource Center is going to be. All happy people should be inside a library.
That's a brilliant vision. We've got another question here from Mr. Ahmad Najmi. Is Pamer going to be a tier to PAM membership? Storing data require funding, and some sort of viable economic solution is needed. Yeah, I think that was one of the questions actually I was going to ask you, because it's a lot of manpower in terms of like taking photographs, going there. How was?
Yeah. Currently, PAM has been very generous to Resource Center. I think all the people in PAM, the councils, the committees, realize the importance of having such services or facilities in a learned society institute. So so far, we do get funding from PAM themselves for all the activities, but most of the work done in terms of research are volunteer based, because that maybe come from me myself who think that this is my contribution to the society, and so we share that vision with all the reviewers and researchers that are working currently in PAMIR. However, that will not stop anyone who would like to submit for or apply for grants, collaborated with certain body that could come in with PAM to really bring this up to a bigger effort lah, because sometimes obviously when we do research we need fundings, we need all the necessary means to to go everywhere, but that could be designed as a project, a research project. If you are with institution, yes, we could collaborate. I think PAM is very happy to collaborate with any institution and find funders, sponsors. That could happen. But we had to discuss and see how this could be proposed lah, So if I think there's no limit to what we could do. We could go all out to try to make this reality in the future. Okay. Okay, Nazmi, thank you for the question. Yes, please come in and be part of PAMIR. I will be looking for you.
I'm sure he'll be there soon. I was actually kind of surprised. Well, not surprised, but I would like to ask you a little bit more in detail about the results from your site research, where you divided everything into 5 groups. I kind of have 2 questions. The first one was what made you decide on those groupings specifically, and then the second thing I kind of surprised was the difference between the inventory of the buildings that you found and the actual documentation. I think, for example, there was about Pudu, there were like 39 buildings, but I think probably 22% or 10% documentation, if I understand it correctly. So yeah.
Oh, you mean the numbering, that I put just now?
Yeah, for the grouping, like there was like group 1 was second Bangsa, and also when the result from the research was there was like a big gap between the buildings and the actual documents. So is that right? I mean, the information that you can get.
Well, the grouping for the Masiana workshop was done based on the Masiana way of doing things. We normally go to cities and we started to define the city based on certain zones. And obviously one zone might contain more buildings. So when we do the inventory, the number of students or participants for each zone varies. We will put more participants in one zone that have more buildings. So that at the end, the outcome will be about equal. I mean, the effort by the larger group will be about the same as the one with the smaller numbers of group members. So the zoning, it was not based on specific or unique characters of the place. It's just mainly according to the districts, and some districts merge together, and the one that is the more dominant, that is how we label the zoning. So if you look at the zoning, sometimes you will question, like for example, I think Titi Wansa also cover Chowkit or something like that, or Chowkit something.
So quite close together.
Yeah. So that's some they overlap each other a bit, but it was to facilitate the inventory exercise. It's not more than that. Basically, the buildings the building belong to the specific place where they are, but that zoning just for the purpose of the inventory exercise. And as you know, the inventory were done in 2 days. It was very intensive. We really appreciate the effort of the participants, and the way we design it, that all the participants, all the groups are mixed group. That means we will select from different institutions and they work together, so they get to know each other better and learn from each other experience and knowledge. So I think that also the purpose of the workshop. It's not about getting the maybe the more matured researcher to be part of the activity. For example, if we really want to do a complete a historical study of a place, one way to do is that we engage certain group of people who has strong experience and knowledge about that place. But the purpose of the Masiana inventory workshop is, one, yes, to get the inventory as much as possible. However, the aim is to get the younger generation to be part of the exercise, because they are the one who is going to be the followers, or the one that is going to continue the effort in the future. So by exposing them to the buildings and also to the hardship of getting the information, perhaps that will motivate them to be part of the whole exercise, to conserve the historical part of the city, and also to acquire more knowledge, and also maybe later to publish further on the building and the information they gathered. So that is basically why it become a student workshop. In every city in ASEAN, that students become ambassadors to the city. They will be the representative in the future for this whole exercise. So in our group, we think we have groomed some participants, and they now also contributing to some of the effort also.
I think we have another question. Oh, that's a statement actually. Zuraini Muhammad Ali. Yes, agree with Datin. The experience and exposure to the young generation of future architects. Yeah, I mean this is a very important thing that we're doing. Can I ask you about have you had any knowledge working with the other members of the ASEAN country, like in Cambodia, maybe Thailand, Jakarta? How does it work? Because I find it interesting, because recently I saw there was been some on Facebook group development in Cambodia, Phnom Penh, and they're like moving at such breakneck speed, and it's a bit sad because I think they might be losing a lot of their local modernist architect. They've got like some really, in Phnom Penh, really fantastic works of early modernist Cambodian architecture. How is your understanding about what's going on in the other parts of ASEAN?
Okay. Actually, as we speak today, there is a big conference today in Japan, which is the final Masiana conference that is happening in Japan. So if there is no MCO, actually I should be in Japan today in participating in that conference.
Oh my
because
God.
I will be presenting my report on Kuala Lumpur tomorrow for the whole audience, and also the research group. What happened is that for the last 5 years, we have been, within the Masiana group, we have been going to all the cities. So when the workshop is conducted, we are the main group members, researcher, would come together in that particular city to be part of the workshop there, and also then to share our experience and sit in the conference lah. So I've been to Japan, I've been to mana? To Vietnam. Okay, to Vietnam.
Hanoi.
Phnom Penh. No,
Phnom Penh.
Hanoi. Okay.
In the north. In the north.
Yeah, in the north. That was a good experience for me. I never realized Hanoi is that north, you know. I thought Asia, Hanoi should be as warm as us. So a rush to the shop to get all the jackets and all.
You were there in winter. You were there in winter.
It was a late late month. I think it's September, October, something like that. But it's already very cold.
Because they can get snow in winter around.
Yes, I didn't realize that. So that is one experience that I cannot forget. And then we had one in Bangkok, and of course Kuala Lumpur. In Jakarta also, I managed to go. And then last year in Manila and Singapore. So Singapore, it was very unfortunate. It was around the new time for COVID-19. So I pulled out last minute because I didn't want to travel already by that time. But they had online conference. But in Manila, it was quite a breakthrough. They just had they just conducted it early this year, their workshop and conference fully online. So the workshop itself also an online workshop where universities participated from where they were, and then the whole inventory were done through online activity. So that is something that I'm trying to work out with some other places now. Maybe in Ipoh we should do that. And today should be today and tomorrow is the final meeting for the group, for the project, and that is where we converge back to Japan, Tokyo this weekend. But unfortunately, because of the restriction in traveling, everything is online. So even though I'm not there, the conference is on. So we get to see everything is happening in Japan today and tomorrow.
And baby, are you hoping to export the Pamier model to either like Cambodia or Laos, Vietnam?
But
become like a standard template.
we wait until we launch it in April. We all the rich material in it that we can share it to the project, and then it could be it could be part of the whole effort. And basically every country take the opportunity after the Masana project is to publish their own book or publication on their modern architecture heritage. So we hope to see that happening in Malaysia too.
Do you feel like going back to what happened in Puncak Purnama, is there any critical cases in Malaysia or in Kuala Lumpur that you feel is of urgent needs?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that we lost that structure. This is the sorry state where we are now in terms of knowing what we have and now knowing what we don't have lah, kan? For something to be appreciated or to be regarded as very important to our history, it needs to be documented well and also promoted on the by anyone or any group of people. Of course, like the sculpture, it was considered a very important arts sculpture in the city, but over the years, because of the lack of maybe discourses about what we have, and also promotion of our arts history, or how significant it is to our countries, and how does that piece of sculpture manifest who we were, during that part of the time, through the eye of this sculptor, which I think very personally, you attached to it, but we could not blame others for what happened. We should have done that earlier. We should have documented it. We should have done the full promotion about it. We could have discussed it more often. But I don't like to look at the past and start to do the blaming thing. We can refer to it, but then okay, now we move on, rather than we keep on talking about it. So we try to see that we will not have that incident again happen to whatever we consider as important to the country mostly, and to us also personally, if we think it is important. So what we do now, and as in Pamir now, is to try to avoid such situation to happen again in the future. We don't only lost that artist sculpture, but we lost a lot of things. I wish we could have retained the airport, the old airport of Subang.
Yes.
I think that was
Yes.
a beautiful architectural piece. It was a landmark. How on earth we could have agreed it to be demolished, but things happen the way it is. It was, and we could not do anything at that time. Also, the Pudu jail, if there was an issue with that, we could have resolved it in a better way.
Yes.
Or we talk about the Loop Mansion or many other buildings lah. I mean, as you know that I am part of the heritage committee also, and I try to, as much as possible, talk about conservation in my project or in my presentations. But it's not just about preserving any object just for the sake of preserving or conserving. It's because of what it means to us. Okay, this is going back to the identification of what is knowledge to us. So if it has certain meaning that we think is important, not only for us, but also to others who would be benefiting to that information, then that should be that knowledge should be recorded, and also should be expanded, to be then disseminated to others. It cannot be kept to ourselves. And when knowledge is being buried or being stored, or some people like to keep information to themselves only, I think that is very unfortunate. That is very, very unfortunate. You can only benefit to any information or knowledge when you share it, when you take the effort to make other people understand what it is, and also use that information and knowledge wisely. And that could be the best thing that you could do to any humankind.
Yes. I mean, I was going to say just about Kampung Baru, for example. It's also another, not a specific building, not a specific thing, but it's a physical space, right? Which is right now in the process of major changes. Again, I know, for example, there's been a lot of research been done about that. They have been kept away.
Yes. So that's the misfortune, every year people doing research on many buildings. Even we have centers of research in every university, but then it's quite frustrating to see that not many are getting the information, sharing the information openly, and and helping others in their research and things like that. So to me, that is wrong, because we are not doing justice to the knowledge that we we obtain. Um, we It's our role now in PAM. I think this is what we want to make this as an example. PAMER will be accessible to everyone, not only to the members but also to the public. So hopefully this is going to be a successful effort, and I really appreciate if anyone who would want to be part of this, please you can come in. No worries, we are all uh, we are so as ignorant as many, but we are changing the way we live, the way we look at where the place we are living now, and that is our action. So I always think that uh, the main thing is to be the person in action. You have to act. You can never just be quiet and not doing anything when you see something is wrong. Okay.
And then hopefully this PAME will also be a way to communicate the importance of what we're doing to the non-architect world, which is the bigger world, right? I mean, when the ordinary person, the lay person who never knew that UM faculty is such an important piece of building, this is the process where we're getting around it.
Yeah, Dr. Zuraini should be the person to refer to when we talk about UM. She's doing a major job in UM now, trying to document all the building in UM because UM is growing. There will be a lot of new buildings. So if we don't do anything to try to document what have been done in then we will lose that part of our history. It's not just about the building, but knowing that a building is a manifestation of a time, people, and event.
Right.
Then it's very important to record. We could not save all the buildings because obviously we had to progress in terms of the way we live, but at least before any demolition or any loss of anything, we quickly do the inventory, we quickly do the documentation and record everything, and then share it to everyone. So that is the purpose. This is something about conserving architecture. Doing conservation for architecture. We had to be realistic in conserving anything. Conservation is good. Is something that we call commendable. We want to conserve. If we love it, we appreciate it. If it's part of our heritage, but if it's just merely conserving for no contribution, no benefit to anyone, then that would not be a successful conservation project. So just like knowledge, when we document and we keep it, we cannot just keep it, can? So conservation of knowledge is about having knowledge to be used for the future needs, kan? That is about conservation of knowledge, but it's not about you conserve and it becomes stagnant.
Yes.
It's not like that. So that's not the concept.
We don't want to be like the whole Kampung Jonkers thing in Malacca, where it becomes like a weird museum piece. It should be suggest a new way. One of the things I noticed is quite obvious when you show the pictures of early modernist architecture, how architecture in the era was very much a reflection of the era. They were adaptive to the climates. They were very contextualized, which people forget, perforated bricks. Whereas now with high-tech technology, it's almost become the supra globalized, it's the same thing. So in a way, when you when one conserve buildings, it's knowledge, you're forced to come up with a new way where the new can renegotiate with the old, and then create a new solution as opposed to just knock everything down and build another generic building. So yeah, conversation. It's you can see like in Europe as well, right? When they have like all this, when they're forced to conserve buildings, but still they want to build new development. They're forced to come with new ideas, and it actually makes better design. It makes more interesting. And yeah, that's another point. I think we are almost done now. We've got 4 more minutes left. Unless there's any more, time flies quite quickly. I could carry on talking, but is there any more questions from anyone? Otherwise,
Hi, Mr. Syed. Would you mind to do a print screen? We want to take photo of you
okay,
and
sure.
Datin. Okay, just hang on.
So who will do it? Me or?
Me. I'm
Okay.
doing.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Come.
Oh, hello. Hello, team.
Okay, that is the people behind the scene.
Okay, 1, 2, hang on. 1, 2, 3. One more freestyle, everyone.
Freestyle,
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, so thank you everyone. I think all the participant has been very, I think where I didn't expect so many people in my session, but I'm happy to see that they are here. So thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope we get to see each other soon. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'm supposed to say thank you once again to Dr. Hayati, and this ends. This is the end of the session. And please don't forget to sign up to get your CPD points. Thank you and goodbye, everyone.
Okay, bye bye.
Dah habis dah?
I think so. But
Okay.
and this
Are we-
thing, so we just have to leave lah. So
Okay.
we can go to another room.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, this is the CPD scanning. Mana ni? Tak lah, tak ada lah. Okay, bye bye.